Welcome to your Monday, March 23rd Power Hour meeting with Katelyn, Carly, and Clare Fulton. The three of us are here again, but I will be gone next week. Sorry, missing one more Monday meeting. Maybe you'll invite Seneca or
Seneca will be with you.
When's Easter weekend?
Not this weekend, but the weekend after.
So it's not next week, the weekend after.
Yeah.
Okay, so we still have a meeting on Monday.
We still have one more on the 20.
Maybe we'll drag Nelson back
30th.
up
We
here.
have one more. Yeah. Eid Mubarak to everybody that observes. I see more people here. Did you guys have nice celebrations on the weekend? Lots of dancing and eating.
Fashion.
Yes, and happy Nowruz and first day of spring. There's lots of things.
What a month that was. Holy
Yeah.
smokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Ramadan going for the month. We had was Chinese New Year, Persian New Year,
St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day,
March break.
March break,
Ramadan.
spring. There was a
Celebration
full
of work. War. Oh.
Wasn't there a full moon? There was a blood moon or a full moon or something. Or
Yep. There was a lot.
Navratri, Holi.
We are
So
a
what's
very
next?
diverse group here.
What's next? What's happening now? Easter.
Easter.
Next. And then summer. Work. We hope.
Then the kids are off school.
back to work.
True.
Another Eid after 2 months.
Another
Eid.
Okay.
Don't forget that one.
We won't forget.
So
Us. We'll
thankfully, I won't forget because somebody will always remind me. Well, good. We always have to. I always thought I'd be good to plan our events like a whole year in advance, but you can't.
Can't do that.
You gotta like really foresee everything that's happening. So that's all right. Did anyone run open houses, or are we mostly observing Eid? I didn't see a ton of signs in my own area in Scarborough.
For our Muslim friends during Ramadan, do a lot of people don't want to do anything, or do they want to do something, or is it just a normal work day, or how do we find that? It's a normal work day because generally we find that sales do drop about 10% during the Ramadan, just because people just don't want to. I guess not enough energy, they don't want to work or don't want to do something. I don't know, but does it affect that much or?
Someone couldn't pick up their router because they were celebrating Ramadan. But
Yeah. Okay. So
Couldn't pick up their what?
That was
The router.
yeah. That was the Eid itself, though. I think.
but they could.
So I think things will be picking up from here on. I think it'll be good. Right?
I think so. I mean, if the rest of the world, though, can figure stuff out. We had a plane accident in New York just overnight.
yeah.
Air Canada. Like, it's awful. Like, we still don't know the full results of why. Apparently, he's a traffic controller. That's why it's online is saying it's Trump's fault in the end. I don't know if they're understaffed or the staff are not skilled, but the air controller gave, I guess, a go-ahead, but didn't realize and they couldn't retract it. I don't know. It's awful. So that's Trump's fault then. It goes back to budget and yeah, like
Elon is paying these guys right now.
The Bachelorette also got canceled. I don't know if anyone heard.
Are the air traffic controllers are still part of that? Like the Americans right now are not paying their public service.
at least the budget,
is
yeah.
Is air traffic controllers part of that group?
I think so. Well, it depends on who owns the airport though too, right? Is it federally run or?
No, I think it's federal. Federal's all the air controls.
So then, yeah.
So. Wow, isn't that sad?
And then, like Katelyn said, Bachelorette. And
Bachelorette
people are
got
talking
canceled.
more about that than they are trying to get rid of
I think it's-
political powers. Like somehow our attention's on.
Well, they're saying this poor girl in The Bachelorette is getting more punishment than Trump is. So like our world is not doing well right
Like
now.
there's one video got released and it's terrible. Meanwhile, there's like how many files and cases on the
Yeah.
air, dude? Like guys,
Who's running a country.
something's happening in our world. This is post-pandemic.
I'd like to say that I know nothing that they're talking about.
But you do, right?
But you do.
Really, I don't know.
You know a little
God,
bit.
you shouldn't.
Mom must have told you.
Depends on your logarithm and on Instagram.
So there's kind of good news this morning, though. I mean, Trump decided that he's going to hold off bombing the rest of the world for 5 days. Okay, fine. So the stock market today, as we talk, is up about almost 2% right now. So the stock market's coming back. Last week, it took 2 crashes on Thursday and Friday, which just came down quite a bit. But isn't it amazing? I was telling somebody last week, not that I'm getting political, but the premise on Friday I was talking to somebody saying that this fellow here, the king, he'll say, hey, to his friends, hey, I'm going to do this tomorrow, so you go sell a bunch of stock, right? and then on Monday I'm going to do that. So then you go buy it again, or vice versa,
True.
right? So it just seems to be so inside, so
It's
much,
so reactionary,
so
too.
stuff going on there. I don't understand it. But anyways, good news. The stock market's come back. That's good news.
Yep.
Hopefully that's going to, the war does affect. Does anybody think the war affects real estate? Of course it does, right? A lot of people are concerned about it, right? So hopefully get that thing finished.
Yeah, it just keeps this like uncertainty there. Like you think you get past one thing and then there's something else, and it's this constant state of uncertainty, and then you're in a frozen state. You don't do anything.
And I also think, hate to say it, but I think it's going to benefit Canada, this whole war business, because they're going to realize that, hey, maybe our oil's not so bad after all. Maybe our aluminum's not so bad after all. I mean, they're going to realize that maybe we're friendly. So I think maybe they'll change the whole thing around. That's all we need, isn't it? We just need job security, and that's the only reason let's turn back to real estate right now.
Some stability, which rates were put on hold. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like it's.
Yeah.
I'd love to them to go down.
Yeah, I know, but then that prices should go down first. If you keep rates the same, that will force prices to go down. You need that more than you do the interest rate, I think.
But he gave 36 hours ultimatum that he's going to destroy the power.
They stopped that.
No, they stopped.
They stopped that. They stopped this morning. That's what I'm saying. This morning you put it off for 5 days.
Oh, that's good.
That's what I'm saying. So he said you got 48 hours to do this, and
Somebody told us that.
well, now they're getting crazy. I mean, he's saying he wants to bomb their infrastructure, so that's okay. We'll bomb your desalination factory. I mean, who wins in all that? Nobody wins. We still don't know why. Anyways,
He said
scary.
maybe he just wanted to favor with his friends. His others coming
there
down.
has to be some reason there. Anyways,
Oh, well. Do you want to summarize today first?
Sure. I'll just go over a little bit about the coaching session we did. I thought it was a good time because now we're all getting hopefully back into routine. So we did do you guys know Jeff Glover? I don't know if Claire's heard of him. I'm on his newsletter, I guess, but he's another real estate coach in the US. So we just did a session on the daily schedule of someone that wants to sell 100 homes. Do any of you guys want to sell 100 homes? Why not? I'll tell you why not. The schedule is insane. So like a lot of people always talk about like they want to sell 100 homes, they want to sell 50 homes, but they don't understand like what it actually takes to sell that many homes. And so what he did was he went through a daily schedule, and he just talked about how like the direct correlation between agent production and there's a direct correlation between agent production and their daily routine. So this is the top producer's schedule of someone that sells 100 deals. I'll just go through like the hourly, but at 6 a.m., they wake up and they get ready. It's at 6 a.m. 7 a.m., they're departing for the office. 7:30 a.m., they're doing accountability and role play calls. At 7:45 a.m., they're preparing for dials for whatever lead source, whether you're cold calling, I guess, FSBOs, just listed, just sold, whatever. He said whatever lead source it is, it's at 7:45. At 8 a.m., you start dialing. So they're all about calling during this time, I guess, more than anything. 9:30 a.m. is a mindset break. 9:45 a.m., continue dialing until 10:30 a.m. Then at 10:30 a.m., so the beginning of the morning, it's all about brand new business. It's not about people that they already know. So they're prospecting for people they don't know. And then at 10:30 a.m. is when they do the lead follow-up. So with people they do know or they've met at open houses or in whatever source it is. 11:15, this is when he recommends doing the content writing mode. So this is where you're basically just writing out, I guess, like a caption of some sort for maybe some idea of maybe what you would have for social media. But he recommends never doing this before prospecting, but still doing it in the morning when you're still in your creative mode. 11:45, acknowledgement mode. So reach out to anybody during that time. So if you did any cold calls and they didn't pick up, but maybe they called back or something like that, or they did reach out, you don't actually reach out to them until 11:45. 12:15 is time with the family or a healthy time out. I did like that he mentioned, like, don't go out with other realtors. So if you guys are going on lunch breaks and stuff like that, or you're taking a mental health break, he's like, why are you guys going with each other? None of you guys are gonna buy and sell real estate with each other. So like, what are you doing? And you're gonna get in like a negative mindset as well when people just start complaining about the market. So he actually recommends you guys all stay away from each other, which is really interesting. Because I know it happens. I see it all the time where you guys all want to go get lunch together, especially at the Ajax office where we have a lot of lunch spots now. I notice agents going off together, but we'll get that habit out. 2 to 4, admin and social media work. So we said if you have any admin or you're in the middle of an offer, you got to firm up any like deadlines or anything like that. That should be happening between 2 and 4 o'clock. And any social media work. So we shouldn't be scrolling or doing any posting until the afternoon. 4 to 5:30, if you have no appointments, this is when you do door knocking and capture footage of you door knocking and posting it on social. And then from 5:30 to 7 is a lead follow-up and social media responses. So that's a pretty hefty schedule, right? So whenever agents are saying, hey, I want to even make $100,000 a year, like obviously it's going to be a lot less than this, but he's like, this doesn't have to be everyone's schedule, but if you want to do 50% of that, even 50 deals a year, it is quite a hefty schedule. So if you guys are trying to get to that level, you have to reassess what you guys are doing on a day-to-day basis to get to that spot. And he'll say, well, I don't want to wake up at 7. Well, then you're not going to do 100 deals is basically what his point is. So I think it's really important if you guys do have goals of how many transactions, you really do need to have it in your mind what you need to be doing each day, because if you're doing the same thing every single day and not getting those results, then you have to go back and look at what your schedule actually looks like. So I don't know if Claire, if you liked that one today, or getting on a routine is all about everything.
You also said that before you make your schedule, you got to know what you want.
Exactly. So you have to know, you have to know what you want and why you want it. So why, like, do you want to sell 50 homes and why do you want to sell 50 homes? Why do you want to sell 100 homes, 25 homes, whatever that is? But you can't just wake up and not know why.
All right. Yeah, in the old days there, remember the Mike Ferry days? They used to say if you wanted to do 100 contracts, you had to contract 100 people a day. That was the word formula? You know, if you want to do 20 deals a year, then you got to contact 20 people a day.
Just a very simple method.
Simple as that. So,
Yeah. And I remember I was an assistant to a Mike Ferry agent back in, I don't even know what, I think it was in university. And it was actually in this office behind Nelson. And she wouldn't let me come in as an assistant until 10 o'clock a.m. But every day my job was to like prepare her call list for her. And she would come in to the office at like 7 a.m. every day. She'd do role play calls with her Mike Ferry coaching people. And then she would be on the phone from like 8 till 10. And then she would leave and then do her other stuff. But she was very regimented that way. And then I would come in when she was gone and done all of her stuff to get her ready for the next day. So sometimes it does take an assistant, I guess, to even have a lot of this to help you out with, like to prepare your calls. But I know it worked for her. She's no longer with us, but.
And these aren't necessarily cold calls. These used to be when we say prospecting call, these are your follow-up calls, your past clients. Mike Ferry was always new people, but in the afternoon.
Yeah, you said 10:30 to do people that you already know, but before that, it's all complete strangers. So just listed, just solds, whatever strategy.
Mike Ferry plan was you prospect in the morning for the strangers. You prospect for the just sold, the just listed, the people that you don't know, and then in the afternoons you do your follow-up calls. That's the way it used to be. So the morning was trying to generate new business, and the afternoon was trying to cultivate existing business.
Yeah.
But whatever the plan is.
Whatever the plan is, everyone needs a plan. I think that's kind of why even our meetings, I don't know if you structured it on purpose this way, but I think like even with our trainings at 11 a.m. on Wednesdays, I try to do that in a way so you guys are doing like your calls or whatever in the morning. Then you've got a training. On Mondays, hopefully you're doing all your prospecting and all that, and then you come to the Monday meeting. And we're not 8 a.m. people over here either, but.
No, the reason why we have AppTVs is because they were supposed to be prospect in the mornings. That was the purpose.
That's what yeah.
Yes, I can see. The calls got into the morning, right? Also, the best was, Floyd bit when you say you had to keep on calling until you get an appointment.
Yeah.
You don't leave the office until you get an appointment.
Some people say, I'm going to sit here and make 20 calls. Mike Ferry Floyd Bickman was, you call until you get an appointment. Yeah. So if you get an appointment the first call, then you got lucky, go home. Mm-hmm. If it takes you to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you keep going, right? That was the whole thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
People
when you call somebody in the morning, as per this, to keep it at
Yes.
morning hours?
What was the question?
If people answer the phone.
So here's what happens.
He said regular humans are up at 8 a.m. They drop their kids off at school. They're at work. Like we're abnormal, I think, as realtors because we don't have to be at work at 8 a.m. But the real world, they are up and out and doing their thing at 8 a.m.
Before 10, more people are home. And they're not in a bad mood yet.
That's right. That's right. No,
They haven't had their day ruined.
ticked them off yet today.
Yeah.
So I've heard this now forever, okay? I've heard this forever. So the whole idea was to make your phone calls in the morning because there's no distractions. And as he said, you don't open up your email, you don't look at your TikTok, or you don't look at anything else. You actually get on the phone, your phone call. You don't do anything else but phone call. You start at 8 o'clock in the morning. And then by the time 10 o'clock, you're finished. Because come 10 o'clock, if you start phone calling, because you don't want to wake up by 8 o'clock, they're already on the day. They're into the day. The clients are picking up kids, or going out, they've got their day planned. So you only get it before they got the day planned and before they get ticked off, right? So the whole purpose was to do it in the mornings. And I hear quite often from agents, well, I don't want to disturb them at 8 o'clock in the morning, right? Then don't. Right? But we're telling you what works.
What is this?
That's from an email I got.
I just saw that now.
This is what works. And a lot of agents get the drunk monkey. Here we go. The drunk monkey says, well, I don't want to disrupt them because maybe it's too early in the morning. I don't want to phone them at noon. Maybe they're having lunch. I don't want to phone them at 6 o'clock. Maybe they're having dinner. I don't want
Yeah.
I don't want to call.
The drunk monkey just gives you all the excuses now.
But even the guy today, he's like, you don't have to. You don't have to do any of these things. But if you do want to sell 100 homes, that's what it takes. So if you're not selling 100 homes and you're not doing those
And
things,
this is why I recommend,
Fine.
just recommend getting a farm area. Okay, you think, well, who am I going to call? Well, get a little farm area and start collecting data and start working in the farm area, start doing things like that. So
yeah. Fun. So that was a fun morning
the other
routine.
thing is lead follow-up, right? Just to go into that thing there. So you may have gotten a lead 6 months ago, 8 months ago, 2 years ago. Do you still have that lead somewhere? Phone those guys. All right, and we proved it already. We gave a list out, 2
Oh my
weeks
God.
ago.
I want to cry.
we gave a list out. We give out leads, and everybody says the leads are no good, which they probably aren't. But I tell you, we gave out the list 2 weeks ago, and people that phoned, and there were what, half a dozen.
I think I gave out at least 15 pages of 20 leads, and there was a lead on every single page that had already bought something, or there was one that was actually ready to go, which was pretty good. But there was at least one person on every single list that had bought or sold in the last 12 months. And I was like, I gave those leads out at that time, so it's unfortunate that they weren't followed up with by our guys.
I appreciate what happens. It was somebody phones them, and the guy says, "No, I'm not interested." Okay, that's the end of it, right? So I phoned him, and
Yeah.
that's it. But
But you could keep that same list and go back and do it again, right?
and it's sales techniques, right? You talk to somebody. That's not doing something right away. You ask permission to phone them back next time. You say, a lot of people say they don't want to bug them. Okay, fine. Hey, Jack. Last time we talked, you said you're thinking about doing something in the spring, and just phone you to see whether or not things have changed. No, they haven't. Do you mind if I give you a call in a couple of months? No problem. Done.
Yep.
Right? Now you've got permission to call them back.
That's the best follow-up is just when you just said, just keep it simple. Like, hey, you mentioned that you were going to do something. Are you still considering it? And then they just say yes or no.
The other thing you have to do, everything they tell you, you got to cut it in half. So they tell you that, okay, they say, I'm going to do something in April. Okay, you phone them in
February.
March. The last time we talked, you said you were thinking about doing something in April. Just phone you to see whether or not things have changed. No, I still thinking about April. Great, no problem. Do you mind if I give you a call and follow up? No problem. Done.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't really feel embarrassed to follow up on these people either. So just solve them the setup.
It's more embarrassing when you see their house listed on the market and you could have followed up.
Well, no, it's 1 in 4. It goes back to 1 in 4. You get 4 people that say I'm going to do something, and then one,
Yeah.
Good.
Good time.
We had a good session this week on listings, looking at all.
Yeah, last week we
listings.
did like a little baby mastermind. I knew it wasn't going to be crazy busy because it was March break and stuff. I think we had about 10, 15 of us there, and we just went over a few agents' listings that aren't selling right now, and a bunch of us just kind of gave each other some advice. So I know like some of us were like, okay, I would actually get rid of that photo. I would maybe virtually stage this. We went over the house price index, which some people actually, surprisingly, I did not know about it. So we did house price index and like just doing price over time and just going over comparables and stuff. So we gave some price adjustments for a few of our listings, and I think it helped, especially just kind of giving conversations. We had some experienced agents and some new ones. So if you guys have a listing that's not selling, I think it's really cool to have different agent eyeballs on it because you can get different perspectives from maybe what they would say as a buyer. I think Michael was there giving his very honest opinion on most listings, but it is nice to have like all different types of opinions for price, photos, description, whatever it is. And then you can go back to your clients and say, hey, I met with like a group of other agents. We all got our eyeballs. This was the feedback. And then it kind of gives you something to go back to your sellers with, especially if it's not. It's kind of nice to say I consulted with a bunch of people. It's not just us, blah, blah, blah. So if you guys are struggling with any, feel free to pick other agents' brains on it.
Has anyone noticed a pickup in their own listing activity in terms of showings, offers?
I've heard that there is.
We've seen it in ours too. One of the advice I forgot to tell you was to book a trip if you're trying to get some listings.
Yeah, if
we
you
went to
are a
Vancouver
seller.
and started getting offers on our listings.
I think that's Dad's number one rule. If business is slow, book a trip.
Book a trip.
Also, you get busy the day before, right?
Or while you're there. It does ruin your trip a little bit, but
Yeah, but I've seen a little bit of a pickup too.
I've noticed so like definitely in Durham, still in like the under 800 range, I'm seeing bidding wars happen. I'm seeing a mix of offer nights or a mix of list low with no offer date, but it's naturally becoming a bidding war. So condos I still see are struggling a little bit, but even we sold a Regent Park one this week that's been on the market for a while. So I don't know if the inventory, Claire will talk about inventory if it's going up or down, but
Anybody else getting any activity on their listings in the last week?
There's showings on my condo, but no offers. They like it, but apparently no one wants to pull the trigger and actually put an offer.
Yeah, it's the hardest part.
yeah.
They all like it. Best one we see, but we're gonna look at more.
Yeah.
So you know the answer to that one probably. Price.
Theirs.
Have you tried the list low? Like give them a deadline?
No, we didn't try it.
I've seen people do it as a plan B just for the sake of putting a date on it. After you have all these showings, you could try that as a strategy too. Yeah. Yeah, but I haven't seen a little bit of a pickup. Do you want to jump right into stats then?
Oh, there's
from there?
stats,
Yeah.
So as of March 22nd, now the listings are starting to come up again. Who remembers what we started the year off? Number of active listings. 17,000, right? So today we're sitting around 22,500. So it's starting to stretch up a little bit there. We've got 11,500 are freeholds, almost 10,000 are condos. Vacancies still around 36% for these properties, although the condos are actually 44% of those properties are vacant. Is it April 1st or the end of April that they have to declare their...
If April,
End of April.
End of April? I would start doing your reminders again right now.
Yeah,
though. It doesn't
we just
hurt.
did that last week, so good touch point if you guys haven't touched point with your Toronto guys.
The sales themselves are pretty much the same as last March, about 2% difference to the positive. Freeholds are plus 3%, and condos are only down 1%.
Interesting.
From March of last year. So you guys have read, I'm sure, the newspapers or you talk about condo this and condo that, and condos are falling apart and end of the world, blah blah blah. We're still only 1% from last year, because we're talking resale market, not new market. And the new seller, pre-construction, that market is definitely struggling, but the resale's on pace what it was last year. Sales over asking, about 20% still, only 13% of condos, but 24% of freeholds are selling for more than asking.
So that's going up and up each week then. So that's what you're seeing probably in the Durham area.
What was it last?
21% a couple weeks ago. 13% that started at the beginning of the year.
But it doesn't really mean a whole, like, it does mean they're selling for over asking, but they're not selling for huge over asking. What we're noticing here that we might get 10, 15, 30 offers on properties. But we've got one here. It wasn't our listing. It's this other fellas here, and he had it listed for. It was in Whitby, detached house, listed for $518,000. He had it on offer date. He had 30 offers on the property that day, and it did not sell.
Because it's wild.
Because they're probably all
Take that back. Property did sell, but it sold conditional with 30 offers.
Oh, yeah.
Condition did not come through and came back on the market.
Ouch.
Right. And then they put it back on the market, and he wrote an email saying that the client's looking for $750, even though it was listed for $518. The client looking for $750. It finally ended up selling for $705.
Still quite a bit over asking.
Well, no, it's over asking, but still, that's
They
what the
listed really,
property's
really
worth,
low.
right? 705. It's a single car garage, not a very big place, about between 1,100 and 1,500 square foot house for $705 in Whitby at Lynn Creek.
Good area.
But that's what's going on. Even though we're getting multiple offers, we're still getting conditional offers, conditional multiple offers.
Yes.
Yeah.
But at least they're getting offers and selling it conditionally.
At least you're getting something. If you got something sitting there, of course you have to have a seller that understands what you're trying to do. Daily 154 per day. Projected for the month is going to be about 4,700, which is not that strong. We're still less than 5,000. If you did 5,000 for the year, it'd be 60,000. And last year we did 63,000 overall. So it's not really big number, but still spring markup. Months of inventory, 4.5 approximately, except for your condo, it's almost 6 months of inventory. And freeholds are 3.8 months of inventory. So again, when you're talking to your clients about selling prices and that, it's one of those situations where we understand that if it's a freehold house, only 1 in 4 properties is selling right now. So you got to make sure you're the 1 in 4. So yes, the neighbor's asking this. Yes, the guy across the street's asking that. But those properties aren't selling either. So you've got your finger on what's happening. As far as sales from February 22nd, we're actually up to over 20% from February. So sales for March are up 20% from February. So that's the good news too. On leases, about 18,000 leases. So there's less leases than there are properties to sell. Split about 8,000 are freeholds, 10,000 are condos. These are active listings. Vacancies about 35%. Something wrong with my numbers there, but about 55% of the condominiums are vacant that are for lease. Leases themselves are actually up 6% from last March, and they're up 25% from February. So things are up from February and up a little bit from March. So the market's settling down as far as I can see. It's not booming, but I think it's starting to settle down.
Settle down with more rental go.
But rentals are still more. I mean, we've got 7,000 rentals so far this month, and we've only got 3,000 sales. So I think what's happened, you guys tell me what's happening. I think that a lot of first-time buyers are renting instead.
I think a lot of humans are renting. I don't know if it's just first-time home buyers. I think even older generations and what would be move-uppers are also renting.
Yeah, and why are they doing that? I think because unfortunately, I think maybe prices are still too high.
I think prices are still too high, and they're not certain with what the future holds. So it's safer bet to rent right now than to lock yourself into a mortgage where they're even talking about rates going up soon. So can you imagine, again, more uncertainty, more unknown? I think even your good income professional people are renting right now, even though they could buy.
So one thing that the newspapers are concentrating on, and maybe you might get concentrated on, you got to think about that, but we're concentrating on the first-time buyer. We're concentrating on people that can't afford in the first place, people that maybe bought too high that can't sell because they paid too much for it. That's a very small amount of the entire market. Mm-hmm. Most people, probably 80-90% of the people have bought properties more than 5 years ago. So they're not in a situation where they're going to lose money if they sell. And they've got equity too. So sometimes you get all hung up and nobody's got equity, nobody can afford it. That's just a small portion of the bigger market. Bigger market it's fine. So think about those things. Mm-hmm. According to RBC, they're saying Canadians are still keen on owning a home despite the market uncertainty. So they did a survey. This came out the other day, and they're saying that 67% of the respondents said they want to buy a home, up from 62% last year. And 32% of them figured that they're going to buy within the next 2 years. So 67% think it's still a good thing to buy properties, and 32% say they could do something within the next 2 years. So that's a good thing. So we might think, well, I know what you just said there, but I think it's still positive and yeah. 4 in 5 believe purchasing a home is one of life's biggest financial milestones, while 73% view it as a sign of financial independence.
Yeah, but that study shows the percentage of people that want to buy, not the percentage of people that actually think it's going to be realistic in the next 5 to 10 years. And I think they're doing a ton for first-time buyers, which is good. They just did the rebate on new build, which is a bit confusing still, but I'm reading that it's a layer of 5% on top of what the builders can do themselves. But like you said, they still rely on the builders to price the homes accordingly in the first place. So yes, they're saving on all the closing costs at the end, which is super helpful, but it still relies on the builders to price homes appropriately, which I think they will, because I think they're going to want to sell.
Yeah, and the builders are saying that that's what we have to sell for. This is what it costs to build. So there's other things going on.
So I do think they will. So that's going to help. But like you said, there's a whole segment of people that have already bought condos, hoping that they were going to sell that condo and move up into a townhouse or a semi or detached, and they cannot sell that condo. So they're at a standstill right now. And those people are renting bigger houses, or they're staying in that small condo. And so there's this whole middle section of middle class, 40-year-old type professional people who are literally stuck because they've invested in this condo and they can't move it. I think that's what's causing a little bit of our standstill. And then your older generation, they're aging in place. They're also not moving because they don't have a senior's home to go into. That's not $5,000 a month. So your first time home, we're doing a lot for first time home buyers. I think now
Something for the seniors.
opinions that I'm reading is that we need to do something for your like 40 to 50 year olds who are trying to move up into like a detached and have been sort of torturing themselves in a small condo, or your seniors. They don't have anywhere to go. They're just going to live in their huge house, aging in place until they literally can, until the family, deals with that. But and that's the opinions I'm reading about all the market right now is we're doing so much for the new construction to revitalize that for first-time home buyers, but we still have this problem with 20,000 active listings on the market that people can't move and they can't sell. They're not moving in either. It's a weird thing. So I don't know how to solve that. People are suggesting giving breaks to seniors, giving breaks on land transfer tax to people that are trying to move up as well. So I think those kind of things would help people as well.
So good news is the federal government says they're going to give their 5% GST. They're on brand new houses. We're going to waive that. And now Ford said he's probably going to waive the provincial portion for new homes as well. I'm not sure if he's made that decision yet, but he talked about that as well. Mm-hmm. So they're trying to help. Get going on the new builds, which is unfortunate.
Yes. Yeah, it is important. So, I mean, you guys can be talking about that too right now. If you're looking for something for content on your social media, or you're looking for some sort of email blast, it wouldn't hurt to put this in front of your buyers, especially if parents are helping their kids or anything, because it is a big deal. They could save up to $50,000 in closing costs, and the closing costs are huge for new builds. That's why people don't entertain them right now. So I think it is worth talking about. Whether or not your clients can benefit from it, it depends on what they're looking for. But I think you should be talking about it so that your clients know that you're aware of what's happening in legislation, because it did get passed. Claire also mentioned last week, I think already, it's not a new trend, but that there is a group of investors who are working with the government to spend $1.3 billion on affordable housing. So basically they're collecting bids from builders who have unsold units. So I think there's a minimum, they have to have like 12 units at least in that portfolio. They're planning to build 2,000, just over like 2,200 rental units, 550 of those to be affordable rental units, which means that they're going to give it to lower income people, or they'll let them do 30% of market rent, like of their income. They're not the only investor doing this. This could be a new trend overall. There might be other smaller investors doing things like this on a smaller scale. They're basically buying up and scooping unused or unsold inventory and turn them into purpose-built rentals. So these are units probably already ready, sitting vacant right now, ready to be occupied and rented out. So it's not a bad thing. There was some speculation and opinions that this was going to drive down condo prices, but all of these things happen behind the scenes. No one knows what the rents of these are going to be like. It's all done privately, right? So I don't think it's going to affect the actual condo market, but there is speculation that that's going to bring condo market down, which wouldn't be a bad thing, because the average price of a condo is still $600,000, which is quite expensive still overall, right? So you'll see more of that happening.
What they've done is a company called High Art Capital that's doing this, and there's a provincial crown agency that's also contributing money. So the provincial government's involved. So they're trying to create affordable housing, 500 units, you said, 550
Of
units?
affordable units.
They're going to be affordable. So they're going to buy blocks of 10. I'm just curious, if you bought a condominium to yourself, and then you find out that 10 suites have been bought out for affordable housing, does that affect the value of the property then?
Yeah,
It's just
it will.
So it's not speculation,
I'm
but
just thinking out loud.
It will.
And is there anybody heard of ICE condos?
Yeah. That one's just bad because there's lots of Airbnbs.
They allow Airbnb in that building, but I don't know how do they allow Airbnb? I thought they.
I don't know, but it is a great
you have to be
location.
permitted.
But
You
It has to be
still have to follow the rules.
I thought it'd be more than 28 days.
You still have to follow the rules, primary residence and all that stuff.
So the provincial government's trying to help out, but that's fine. The annual inflation rate we talked about went to 1.8% in February, so that's good news. How did that affect the mortgage rates?
yeah.
So it's 4.1, 4.2 for variable,
3.69, 3.9.
3.69, 3.9 for fixed,
For the fixed.
5-year fixed. So fixed are cheaper than variable.
That's interesting.
Now I'm reading.
Pick a loyal. No, last year we still be on the base 3.89.
They're speculating that they could go up, but they haven't yet. Yeah.
Yeah. So people will be coming,
So that's an interesting question then. Are you telling your clients to go if they're renewing variable or fixed? Or if they're buying new?
Actually, my next question, is it a good idea to get a commitment right now?
we can roll the rate for 120 days.
So that was a
Good idea to be
Yes.
So what some people are advising their clients is to get a commitment right now. It doesn't mean you have to be the one to sign off on the commitment. Get the commitment now, because if it changes in 120
20 days.
days,
So if it goes up.
you can it's a commitment.
We can guarantee.
So if you've got clients that are on the fence renewing soon or trying to buy, it wouldn't hurt to get a commitment right now. Don't sign it, but then shop it. If it changes, then you've got something that you've committed to, right? So that's not a bad idea.
One blank, offering 5 years, creeper 6.5.
Sure. No, Suido worked with RPC.
I know it don't work well. People to do that.
RPC is to be 2.6 baht. Yeah.
Just like, go with that one.
You think we can lock it in for 5 years?
We are still telling them to do it with the 3-year just to see how's the market going, but we still okay the rates right now.
So we'll look at 3-year fixed. If not, it just keep the speed.
So the question was to do
Long or S&P.
question for those online was to do 3 years or 5 years. So still recommending 3 year to get a gauge, 3 year fix to see what happens. Yeah, it all depends on your client's risk tolerance and their lifestyle. We had one client that has a condo and a house, and he said, I'm going to split it. I'm going to do one variable, one fixed, and see what happens, because there's no right answer, right? You can't predict the future. It's just gauging what your own risk level, tolerance level is, and knowing what you've learned from the past. I mean, people did variable for so long, and then look what happened. So there's no right or wrong. You just have to make a decision for what's right for you today.
And just for those of you that want to put reason to everything here, the fixed mortgage rates are based on bond rates, right? And the bond rates are affected by global disruptions. So with the oil going up over $100 a barrel, it affects the bond rates, which affects the fixed rates. So they're saying here it may go up even 40 basis points. So if you're getting cheaper today for your fixed rate, lock in. If you like fixed rate, you might want to get some kind of commitment now, because who knows what's bad. But I think the forward's going to end. The things are going to drop. So that's right.
You think rates are going to drop? No.
I think the price of oil is going to come down, which is going to cause the bond rates to come down, which is going to be a decrease in fixed rates.
In fixed rates, yeah.
I'm looking at Abe over here. He's got what do you think, man? He's got CMHC experience, so that's my logic, anyway. So
Yeah.
We shall see.
Let me go, or we bounce off each other. My turn. Did you guys see the article about a guy using AI to sell a house?
I did.
So it's floating around. The headline is, "A man let ChatGPT sell his home. It beat every agent's estimate by $100K and closed in 5 days." So this is in the U.S.
I'd like to know who wrote the article. I think it's ChatGPT wrote the article. No, and I'll tell you why. So you can't believe anything you read anymore.
Yeah, no. The point of how I'll frame the story is it's a tech guy already, okay? So it's a CEO of a tech company. So already he knows how to use AI, okay? This is not your regular client going on ChatGPT for the first time asking a bunch of questions. He's prompting it exactly what he needs. He's driving home a long time. He's got all this time. And he starts having a conversation with his ChatGPT about what would it take to sell my house, and how would I market it, and what kind of repairs should I make with it, and how should we price it. And so in this car drive, he's having this conversation where at the end, as AI does, he's got a full business plan on how to sell the house, what to do first, how to fix it, what to price it at. I guess he had met with other real estate agents, and his AI gave him $100K more in terms of the market value than other agents. So what they don't talk about in the story is physically, I believe he still used an agent to sell the house.
What it says here, it AI wrote him a feature sheet.
Correct.
Wow. AI told him to paint the green wall page or something, right?
Yeah. Cool.
Told him to cut the front lawn.
Things he would never think of before, right? So all these things.
All the things. But he still put it on MLS, but they just brushed that. 3 words in there and put it on MLS. ChatGPT did not put it on MLS. This is one of disappointing I'm talking about where they don't tell the truth. So he missed out or left out the most important part.
Yeah.
Who's the co-op agent? Where do you, what happened? How to get up?
But my point to you guys is your clients, again, they're going to go on ChatGPT and they're going to ask the same questions they asked you in the listing appointment. What should I price my house at? What should I do? Should I do staging? So you have to be prepped to have a conversation with your clients as if you are now ChatGPT. They're looking for advice. They're looking for next steps. They're looking for step 1 to 3 and a checklist, and they're looking for all of that. And if you don't provide it, they're going to find it on their own.
But you guys can also use it to your advantage too when a client asks you these questions. And if you don't know, you could also go to ChatGPT and come up with a whole plan, timeline, and all that for your client too. So we can also use it to our advantage too.
The point is that they're using it for conversation. So they're going to talk to you at a listing appointment and as strategy throughout. They're also behind the scenes going to look at ChatGPT to validate your own conversation, but they're looking for a conversation, and humans are still looking for a conversation either with you as a person or online. They don't care how they get it. They're looking for some sort of back and forth feedback. So be prepared for that when you're talking to clients because they're going to use it. They still need you. It's not about that. They still need you. They still want to have human interaction, but they're validating you against AI now. So
No, there are many times. I am coming across many clients. They use ChatGPT to find the valuation on the phone.
Yeah.
Same thing what happens on House Paper.
Yeah.
If we use some value.
Yeah. And then they're going to talk to you. Hey, Sandeep, this is what my ChatGPT, what do you think? And then, like AI, talk back and forth. Don't just be like, oh, yeah, I think it's right, or like challenge it, or have a conversation, That's what they're looking for. Yeah. But it's the reality. Nothing wrong with that.
Which information is killing our work?
I think we were used to being the gatekeepers of the info, but we're not anymore. And we have to accept that we're not the gatekeepers of the information, and we have to participate as well, right?
Then there are two sides. Say, like I'm putting an offer for 1.5. They'll say the ChatGPT is saying 1.35, some number.
Did you guys?
And you will say, that's not the reality. Have you seen at ChatGPT seen the property? Have you seen there is no human that they are not seeing the other features. So you will tell them 1.5 is the right value.
Yeah.
You're the expert. That's what you say.
Do you guys follow Sirhant?
Sorry.
Do you guys follow Ryan Sirhant? He did a reel on the weekend. He was doing I think a $50 million transaction. And he's like, I almost lost a transaction to ChatGPT because the buyer ended up going to ChatGPT and they said that he was offering, I don't know, I might be getting the story wrong, but ChatGPT told either the buyer or the seller that their house was worth 100 or whatever million less. And the deal almost fell through because of the ChatGPT, but he ended up saving it. But same thing, like they went to ChatGPT and were like, I'm paying too much. And then he was like, what? Like we were almost there. Like we were in agreement. And then now the agent had to fight and give all the reasoning on why it's not worth. So you do have to fight in ChatGPT sometimes now.
You have to tell your client.
Closing the deal, once you win the deal and you tell them, telling you that 1.35 is not the right value, then they say, that is the reason we hired you. But you imagine the other way around, that you still they silent 1 point.
Yeah, you have to really know your stuff and know your data and know your areas too. Like,
Taste you. Like,
for sure. Oops, oh no.
Yeah.
Just toss that on the floor.
Oh my gosh.
Office falling apart.
Yeah. That's why it's really important that you guys understand what's going on in the market.
Yeah, you have to understand stats and areas and
So I can't remember if it's Mike Ferry or who it might be that talks about realtors' jobs. Okay, and do you get, like, anybody can create a web page, can't they?
Oh, especially now.
Anybody can create a feature sheet, can't they? Anybody can recommend a paint color, right? So is that what you get paid for?
No.
What's our strongest
negotiation?
Get a deal together.
Education, guidance.
So this AI guy thinks that AI did all the things for him. I'm sorry, I can get somebody downstairs to type me a feature sheet. I can hire some guy to do a web page. That's not what you're getting paid for. I mean, you're doing that to market the property. What you're getting paid for is to give the client advice on how to get the house ready, how to negotiate what the good price is, what the competition is, what's going on today. That's what you get paid for. You get paid to get the two parties together to get a deal. That's where the strength is.
Yep.
So all this stuff here is just fluff as far as I'm concerned. All the other stuff. But anyways,
It's okay.
Good.
You have a sign?
Keep going. Okay, so this this builder here, back in the old day there, he sold 2 properties there it's kind of reverse. He sold 2 properties to these 2 people there, and then halfway through he said, we can't close, I can't get final approval or something there, so he didn't class the 2 deals. Then he resold the properties for $400,000 more. So the 2 people went back and sued him, saying that you unlawfully canceled my deal. You had no intentions. You didn't get the approval from the city because you didn't apply for it. This is when the price took off, right? So the builder had to pay the $440,000 back to the 2 purchasers. So it's kind of the reverse, eh?
But they canceled the deal.
The builder canceled the deal, saying that he couldn't get final approval for the planning department, whatever it is. But it's the builder's the one that applied for it and never applied for it.
Oh.
So he cooked the whole thing up, right? This guy here, he's a bankruptcy guy. This is a tough one here. He's when do you let it go? When do you let it go? When do you go bankrupt? At what point in time? I'm talking about your clients.
Or take the loss.
I'm talking about your clients. When do you take the loss? I mean, the guy bought $1 million property, and it's worth today $800,000. Does he close? Or does he lose the $200,000, or does he go bankrupt? I mean, what he's saying here is you got to consider it. Look at it. How long is it going to take somebody to save $200,000 after tax money to make up that thing? So sometimes you're better off just to let it go. Yeah. And I'm saying this, you may have clients that are underwater, clients that as long as they have cash flow, as long as they can job supports their expenses, then things are fine. But then if you're not selling today, it doesn't matter what the value of the price is, does it? You didn't lose $200,000 if you never sold it. Yeah. So as long as you're going to afford the payments, you can. But if you're feeding something, if you're consistently giving that $2,000 a month negative cash flow, it comes to a point where, like, what's the purpose? Yeah. So those are hard decisions, hard conversations with your client. But that's certainly an option for some people.
Yeah, we've had really tough conversations with clients that have purchased like 2022. They say, I need to solve for this price. And we say, that's nice. And they've done a whole nice spreadsheet on the renovations they put into it and the mortgage and the discharge fee and then our fees. I said, the market doesn't care about any of those things on your spreadsheet, unfortunately. And like the more time goes on, you're actually losing more money every week. And it's really hard for them to grasp. But I think you're right. At some point, they need to cut the loss because the loss just compounds every week. At the same time, too, even your buyers, like a lot of your buyers right now are saying, I don't want to buy right now because prices are going to go down. Like I look at the trends, they're just going to go down and down. Why would I go buy now when I can buy when prices are down? But the reality is, if they see something they like right now, they have to accept maybe a short-term loss in the next maybe year. But over the next 5 or 10 years, it's going to come back up. So the main point is that they find something that they really like. Don't wait, because that one unique property is not going to come up again. Inventory is not that high. So try to encourage your buyers to grapple with the fact that, yes, you might the next week see something listed and that's going to be less because that's a trend we're in, but now you're building your equity over time, and in 5 or 10 years you'll build it back up again. So you have to have a mental shift. It's not all like today short term. In your case, it's cutting your losses now so they don't get bigger. For a buyer, it's accepting that that it's going to fluctuate a little, and next week might be some bad news, but same as your stock market, it's going to go up and down.
Same as the stock market.
And over time, we know it's not going to be like this forever, right? So
you also have to stay there for a while. You can't you have to, when you go into like buying real estate, you have to tell them like you need to be in there for 5 years. Yeah. Like you can't just,
10 years.
If you don't plan on being there for more than 5 years, then don't.
We often say 10 too, depending if it's a condo.
Condo probably 10, but don't, But obviously life circumstances happen and deaths and divorces and all that, so.
That's true, yeah. You go ahead, Clare Fulton.
When you guys refinance, there's 2 things here. Okay. Okay. When you guys refinances, do they just go with the lender and sign a piece of paper and way to go? Because this lawyer here, Bob Aaron's saying here that if you're going to refinance, usually you go through a call center or go through a computer to refinance. You're not talking to any people. Is this true? Or are you talking to individuals?
So when I did my refinance, I had the option, mine's a Scotia, so I could go to the branch, I could go to the call center, or I could go on the app. You guess which one was cheaper?
Yeah.
No way.
Yep.
So what the lawyers...
Renewal.
Renewal.
Refinance
You're right.
a little different.
Yeah.
Don't refinance here, but even renewal could be the same. But refinancing, what the lawyer's saying here, a lot of times you deal with the lenders and you're dealing with the computers or dealing with apps or whatever else. He says you need to have some legal advice too to find out what's going on. Like what are the prepayment privileges? What are the penalties? is the there's other things to consider, not just that. So a lot of people don't want to spend the $200-300 for a lawyer, but he's saying here that you should.
That's a good idea too, because I'm seeing you're going to see this more too. I'm seeing a really negative trend now of people that have like paid off mortgages and got into really bad times past couple years. So I'm thinking like older people have refinanced on a variable rate and now can't even make the payment. Now they're in a really bad situation where they have to get rid of their house. These are not young people refinancing. These are older people without necessarily jobs and stuff refinancing. So yeah, these people should be getting consultation too about longer term plans, and it's scary.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah. And then in my case, for the renewal, like even the branch said that I could only get a deal if I had signed up for like extra products. So that's how they're going to get me the deal to buy it down, was with like a checking account or something. And then the call center fully told me that because the app is scrubbing rates all the time and it's changing every hour, if I catch it at the right time, you actually can do better on the app than what a human would tell you. And they want you to use the app because they don't want you to deal with their human manpower. They want you to deal with the app and not deal with any human.
Was this with Scotia?
This was with Scotia. So it was not huge differences, but yeah, I watched it every day. Call center locked it in, and then on the app every day I just checked it and then locked it in on the app. And they fully told me to do that unless you're gonna do something else creative. Well, it's interesting.
Just before you get into that, then,
Yep.
so Cadillac Fairview is saying that they're ready to polish the plans for a 48-store rental unit on the Fairview Mall site. So Fairview Mall, they've got all the parking lot there. They're going to start building high-rise buildings on those parking lot, but they're not going to be your condos. They're going to be purpose-built rentals. That's the direction people are
Do you
going.
think we're gonna have too many rentals at the end of all of this?
There's going to be a flood. There's going to be a flood of
Like we
rentals.
called that out last year. Like I know we have to go this way, but like holy moly. And then when you have too many rentals, what's gonna happen?
They'll start selling it.
They're gonna start to sell them, and then our market will come back, right? Because they're gonna sell at $400K less than you.
I don't know. I wonder if it's a one-way trip. I wonder if they make it a purpose-built rental. What if they ever can convert it back to condos?
Do they do that with the CMHC ones, or no? They just stayed rentals forever, right?
Yeah.
It's happened.
We've
Turn into rentals turn into condos.
Yeah.
I've seen the old ones there off of Kenny Road and Midland and places like that. So I wonder if these new ones.
I'm sure they're prepping for that.
I think everyone's moving to the safest country in the world, of course.
Where's that?
Canada.
Canada.
I don't think it's
Not this year. Did you guys see immigration was, I think we decreased. It was like the lowest it's ever been in the history of Canadian immigration. I saw a chart. It was like up and up and up and then like right down. So that's impacting our market hugely too. I'm going to have only really fun legal stuff from here on out. So I'll let you keep going. Okay, where should I start? 2 more brokerages had their trust account suspended. These were Markham brokerages, Me Home, and 515J Realty. So they've got about shortfall of over 500 grand in the trust account, another 40 grand in the other brokerage. Funds are being used outside the terms. This is similar to your Save Max, where maybe the funds aren't necessarily missing, but they were used to run their operations, which is a total misuse of your consumer's trust account monies. So Rico's, this is now, I think 5, right? We had iPro was the big one, Home Life today,
Save
these 2, Save Max. I think
Probably more.
every week.
Mac was 4 of them, yeah.
Yeah, Save Max has all their sub brokerages, and they're still trying to appeal. They have not been successful at that. This is going to happen more and more and more. So we've already been through our RICO audit, so that's a good thing. They're now asking us to report our fiscal year end. I believe it's just going to be a final number of the trust accounts. That's my speculation. We don't know yet. It's annoying, but it's not necessarily a bad thing to help catch everybody else. And I haven't vetted this by you, but I think you should be careful now about the listings and where your client's money is going to be deposited to. If you see, what's the new iCloud? I'd be a bit skeptical of. These accounts already got frozen, so they're going to have to make some changes. There's about 100 agents impacted, so I don't know how they do the transfer of that. But I would pay attention to where
Small
the deposits
brokerages.
are going to. I don't want to install fear in anybody, but I would be a little careful. I haven't
like a
myself
no-name?
checked if we have any
I don't know how
here.
you be careful. I don't know.
Yeah, if it's like a no-name brand.
And I'm not telling your client, don't say this to your client because they're going to make you like vet every single brokerage. I'm just saying for you internally, just pay a bit of attention if where this brokerage is and where they're operating. Like if you happen to notice it's a one-man show somewhere and you can't
make
get your
it
showing
safer.
confirmed, or I don't know, how do you be careful? But I'm not saying to tell your clients this. It's just we
Put it
will
in
hold
our
it in
account.
our account, or our lawyer will hold it in trust.
No, but I mean, if you put an offer and if you feel the brokerage is not there, sound or what do you do?
Just change the name.
Maybe give me a call and talk it through before you do anything. Don't say anything to your client. Just install fear in them.
No, even
But I would
about their money. So
Yeah.
anything that is a safe option. Then
I might call the listing agent and say, hey, you know, due to everything is happening in the news with Rico, do you mind if my brokerage holds the deposit, or your client's lawyer, or just try to work it out with the listing agent beforehand? I don't think it's going to happen because Rico's going to catch them. But
Just so you know, we're all insured, so it's not the end of the world. So
Yeah.
just it's a pain in the butt.
I know, what if someone said that to you? Oh, you know, we're standoffish. Can we put it in this account? Would you be like, yeah, sure, no problem?
yeah, no.
Yeah, especially as a seller, you'd be like, I want that money in my trust account.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's how do you know? How do you pinpoint people? You don't know. So
You don't know.
So what Rico's doing then? They're saying to all the brokers there, we're going to ask you for your financials. So they're going to be able to tell, everybody instead of just right now they've only got so many inspectors.
Yeah.
I think I read they're doing 5 inspectors a week or
That's what the girl told us. 5 or 6 a week.
5 or 6 a week.
Which is still not enough to.
There's got to be how many 3,000 or 4,000 brokers.
Can you imagine how many years it would take to find it? So.
The thing that concerns me or bothers me is that we've been through the audit now 3 times already, and I've talked to other brokers out there. They've never even been through one.
And we've passed every
In fact,
time.
we have somebody else who knows somebody that works at an office downtown office, and they're saying, "What's FINTRAC?"
What is it?
They don't even know it's an issue. So they're going to catch all these guys that are doing that. And unfortunately, if you get brokers out there that give you commission splits, you get it all the time. They phone you, come join me, blah blah blah, and they're going to do this and get that. I mean, it's like the real estate agent doing the same thing. Real estate agent says, free staging, free lawyers, free painting, free moving, and
0.5%.
And a free lawsuit.
and they say, or the other guys say, we got the best high tech and the best app and best this and best that, and we also do it for no money.
See, it
So
doesn't make
how does all these things add up to no money? How's that work, right? So brokers are the same, right?
Yeah.
To say we'll do this and do that and do this. I'm sorry, but you have to pay the lights. You have to pay people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't work. And now it's coming to light that doesn't work. They borrow money from their trust account to make things ends meet.
Yeah. And unfortunately, good brokerages like us do get punished because we still have to be compliant and still follow all the same rules, even, so.
That will leave you alone now.
No, we're still under FINTRAC review right now. I've submitted our action plan. We are also in the middle of my own internal review. So Rosanna, she's our compliance officer in training. I'm still today your compliance officer, but she's done her own review. And I don't know how to say it nicely. We're still sucking. I don't know. Like she did her own unbiased review. There are still people that are not submitting FINTRAC forms at all. There are still people that are not submitting FINTRAC forms complete with the third party yes or no checked off and the client score risk. We're still not receiving receipt of funds. So on the buyer side, you have to fill out the receipt of funds, the whole form, like not just like your name and a date, the whole form. Having a draft gives us no information. All that tells us is the date the draft came and who it went to.
How are you allowed to pay an agent if they don't fill everything out?
So that's going to come. I hate
don't
doing
yet,
it.
but-
I don't want to do it. But this is what every other brokerage in the world does. You will not get paid if we do not have FINTRAC and receipt of funds. And I think you need to treat it more seriously than RICO and TREB. This is not like RICO regulatory board. It's not your TREB membership MLS. This is the federal government. I don't know how else to say it. It's the federal government. I'm under review still. I still have another interview in a month. They're going to find out how we're doing and how all of our training is going. And I know I'm talking to the wrong people because we get the same sort of 150 people all the time, and we've got a list of people we'll talk to individually. But we got to get it together.
That FinTracker app really does make a huge difference. I know it comes with a little baby cost or whatever, but it's so easy.
Who's using that FINTRAC right now?
It's so easy.
Like you can't
1, 2,
miss
3, 1,
the red like it tells you.
People are
Yeah.
not using it because
It costs $2.99. It's a coffee.
No, that's
I know people were really worried about
you
it.
get five free.
Sure, you want to get fined? Oh, you want to get fined 150 grand?
That's only remote.
Just the remote. It's true.
But honestly, the remote one's easier, to be honest. Like, I don't want to scan the thing. It's so much easier to do the remote and pay the
Once you
$2.99.
do it once,
It's so easy.
I think a lot of people are just afraid of maybe looking foolish in front of their clients. Then
Honestly, you don't have to do anything. They do all the work.
Yeah. It should be like the most important, the first thing you do, honestly, even before any of your paperwork.
My brothers were just like for an ID thing. I know it's different. For a car, a guy came in from Montreal, his ID and everything, got car. It was actually all fraudulent. Had no idea because the guy had an ID, but they didn't know that the ID was wrong because they didn't upload it.
Yeah, it's a fake ID. The physical is ID.
I had gone to 8 different dealerships and didn't get away, but he got away with their dealership.
Oh gosh.
It was because they didn't use this third party to
Because it scans it, right? Like it legitifies.
But we're not the only ones that impact.
Came in, the guy was sweating, he was there for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, FINTRAC is for.
And how'd they catch it later?
So once he left, my brother's like the manager. He was like, "Where's like kind of like our FINTRAC receipt?" And he was like, "Where's the receipt?" And the guy was like, "Oh, I didn't like put it through them.
Oh, God.
It was in front of me, like I ID'd him." And he was like, "Where's the receipt?" And then they found out.
Yeah, and that's after the deal's done. That's backwards. The whole point of FINTRAC is to report on suspicious activity.
It's in every
and it
industry.
affects car dealerships, casinos, banks, mortgages. Like we're not special. It affects the whole world. It's anyone that deals with money.
It's mandatory now.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be mandatory.
yeah. The FINTRAC is mandatory, whether it's the form or the app. If we, yeah, most brokerages do that today too. And then I spoke to another owner who holds back pay for not sending FINTRAC forms, and now their agent's saying, no problem, I actually don't want to get paid, just hold it for me. So those deals don't get processed. We won't even send those to the lawyer. That's the next case.
Why don't they want to get, well, for tax purposes, I guess, which is.
So sometimes the pay is not the ultimate threat either, that will just look like termination for me if we're, like, I don't know how else you can go broker your deals
Yeah.
elsewhere.
If you guys haven't watched the FinTracker presentation, I would. It's on YouTube. I think it's a fairly easy app for all ages, to be honest.
Yeah, it's good. So we will do some more training. I've updated our own policies, procedures, risk assessment. So I'm going to do a training myself where I go through all of that stuff. It will be mandatory because I have to, and they want me to track it and all that stuff. So we hate being like this, but you've been dealing with this for 30 years. I think it's worse now than it was before. You tell me or not. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way I perceive it.
The problem we have here is that people here in this room, they're all good people.
Exactly.
Here's all
I'm
good.
saying this for the recording later.
We're talking about the very, like,
The
handful of
naughty.
people that are bad.
Yeah, that's true.
And unfortunately,
They don't come to meetings and trainings.
what's the old saying there? It's unfortunate. Anyway.
Yeah, that's okay. Okay. Yep.
On that check issue, send buyer insist you that I'm giving the deposit, but I want the deposit to be over at the office, not.
Depends what the agreement says.
So,
Depends what the agreement says.
You have to
Agreement.
put it in
You have to
there.
put it in the offer.
Yeah.
The offer says who holds the deposit.
But if before the offer they want to control where it goes, it's still a conversation the offer has to match.
I mean, that offer is still not through. If I put one when the obligation goes, but he is insisting. I asked him what is the reason. It was Remax. I said the brokerage is not the issue. The idea is if the deal doesn't go through for some reason, financing or whatever reason, he wants his money back early. He says, "You pretty with your brokerage, and then we can get the money back." I said, "Can't."
Same process no matter what. So the mutual release directs who to pay it back to. We have prop text rules of when we have to give it back to, but depending on, it doesn't matter if it's ours or theirs. They have regulations of when they have to give the mutual release, and it's not ASAP same day. So yeah, but see the clients. The point is they're paying attention to the news and they're watching stuff, right? They're going to ask you these questions.
So So the question was the client wanted the deposit to be held by whom? Our office, rather than the listing brokerage. That's fine.
Because the interpretations that we would be faster, right? Which, I mean, we are good service, but still
We
everybody's.
still can't do anything about the paperwork.
Yeah. Yeah, we couldn't just like release it anyways. So.
Just on the sidebar here, if you do a mutual lease and the deposit goes back to somebody different, did everybody come across that?
Different
Person on the mutual lease. Nobody's come across that. So let's say okay, you get a bank draft, and then the deal doesn't go through, and then it says to return the money to my mother.
That's not on the deal.
It's not on the deal. It goes back to a third person. Anyways, that person has to be ID'd. So just so you know.
And in Ontario, it's actually a conversation we had with other brokers from other provinces, because in Ontario it says payable to, the seller and the buyer agree. So as a brokerage, I can't be the one to say no. I'm not giving it to that person. You guys all agreed that's where it's going to. But now I can demand some identification. But in other provinces, that's not allowed to happen. You have to give it back to the person on the agreement. So their mutual release form is set up in a different way. It's not automatically payable to like whoever. But I think as a best practice, it should be payable to the person who gave it or the person on the agreement. And those people need to be identified.
On the receipt of funds, again, everybody, can somebody tell me what the receipt of funds does? Anybody? Anybody want to give it a try? No? What's receipt of funds?
It's not to confirm.
What are you supposed to put on the receipt of funds?
All accounts that are impacted.
No?
Yeah, I know no one wants to get it.
So a lot of agents still think that a photocopy of the bank draft is the receipt of funds. It's not. Receipt of funds, you have to fill it out and you have to tell us where'd the money come from. Did it come from the mother's account? Did it come from their bank account? Which bank account number did it come from? You don't necessarily have to put the whole number. You don't have to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All you can do is X, 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 and X and do the last 3 numbers.
That's not actually true. They want the whole account number.
They want the whole number.
But no one will give you.
Fair.
No, but if nobody's going to give it to you.
Then you at least tried.
Then say we tried and here's the last 4 digits.
Yeah, you want
Where it's coming from for work.
Yeah.
But they're like, oh, we got to get out of this account.
Yeah, they're also tracking where it went to. So it came out of this account and it went into the brokerage's trust account. And it's going to ask you, if you use the FINTRAC app, what's the listing brokerage's trust account number? And you do have that information because you gave those instructions to your client to deposit it into. So just having that form isn't good. It has to be on the receipt of funds. I know it's a lot, but we're not special.
All I suggest on FitTracker is to practice, to run through, make sure you understand it, right? So.
Yep. And I'm sorry, we have to do that. The other thing I've been noticing lately, these are for people that are broker loading their own listings, because if we do it, you'll get a reminder. As you know, AI will scrub now listings for common mistakes. And there's one that I get almost at least once a week for sure. And it's agents putting in remarks, buyers to do their own due diligence. We're not allowed
For like measurements and stuff.
for measurements, for zoning, for whatever. So it's the listing agent's responsibility. Yes, the buyers have part in that, but you can't put that in the remarks. So AI will scrub it. They'll send it to me. We'll have front desk edit it. But I know it's not people using the front desk. It's anyone kind of on their own, like uploading their own listing. So I'll still get that all the time, but I'm just reminding people if you resonate or if you pick it up.
Take it out.
AI is scrubbing that. The only other thing I thought was kind of cute, I was reading on Other World News in Real Estate. So Croatia is having a bit of an uptake in their market right now, and they're not regulated in terms of like brokerages and agents. So right now you could sell a house to somebody and get a commission for it, and you could, on behalf of another brokerage, you can kind of like shop it around, kind of how most like unregulated real estate in countries are. So they're regulating a little bit. They're putting stricter rules for buyer protection. But I thought it was interesting because it's doing the opposite of what some people are trying to do. They have banned agents from forcing buyers to sign an agreement before you go view a property, because the argument is that the buyers are now signing contracts being rushed and they're signing actual commission contracts without knowing. So they're banning that, saying you can show a property to a prospective buyer without a contract. And our rules are similar because you can't service a client without a contract, but in our case, they're not a client until they've identified as a client. So you can't technically show a property in Ontario without a signed contract, but with the RICO information guide. So that's what we do to try to protect that. But just interesting what other countries in the world are doing with unregulated real estate. And then I think April 1st is coming up, our fee structure change. So I think everyone's well communicated on that, but thank you for your understanding and your support. And that will be started next week on April 1st.
April Fool's.
It's a tough
Think about it. See, I can never get it right.
It's a tough subject, but let me tell you this: we would not do it if it wasn't necessary.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Yeah, but not said, all right?
I wouldn't do FINTRAC if it wasn't necessary. So we don't do anything we do unless it's necessary, right?
Yeah, we're not going to shoot ourselves in the head for that reason, but
Yeah.
we miss.
Yeah.
We appreciate your cooperation.
Cool. Katelyn's got some fun stuff.
Got more fun stuff.
Yeah, thank God.
Roll it.
On that topic. Okay, so exciting things coming up. Canva is finally being released to you guys.
Exciting.
Which is really exciting. We've been fighting. Actually, I think I fought for this last year
our
at
idea.
Chairman's Circle. I said to you guys, 2 years ago I fought at Chairman's when we were in Mexico doing those things.
They're asking
My
what
fight was
agents
Canva.
need and what you guys want. And Katelyn said they just want a Canva account, a pro Canva account.
So that all those bricks and stuff they give to you guys, you can edit it so it's not on PowerPoint and all that. So thankfully they listened. So you guys are all going to be getting access to the pro accounts. I believe it's $250 now, but you guys are going to have access to it for $65 per year, which is really good. And I think if you already have a pro account, they're going to come up with some sort of process where you can get that discount somehow.
With your Century 21 domain. That's the only way they can track that you're a Century 21 member.
Okay, so that might be the tricky thing, but they haven't really released too much information, but they did. I don't know if you guys got this email, if it was just us.
I think it's just managers. But
they're going to be doing a training session for you guys or us. I don't really know. It says to get agents up to speed. I think it's for us. Anyways, there's 2 training sessions on March 31st and April 2nd, which I'll send out to you guys, but they're going to do a couple info sessions on the Canva accounts and I guess how it works. But they're basically going to be adding like the branding kits to the Canva with like the Century 21 colors and all that. And then anytime they make those like events the season type of things, like what do you call them? Holidays. Whenever they make bricks and stuff like that, now you guys will have access to be able to edit them and stuff like that. So
will we be able to upload our own, like our market stocks?
I hope,
brokerage level?
I don't know. I guess
We'll
we'll ask that question for sure. So if you guys do have questions on the Canva stuff, then I think go to one of those info sessions. I'll send some more information on those. This Wednesday on the 25th, Jamie Purvish. I don't know if you guys remember him. He did a session for us on, I think, Mindset last year, and a lot of agents liked him. So this Wednesday at 11 a.m., we're going to be doing a webinar. It's going to be the Client Converter Workshop. I thought this was a good time to kind of get more into objection handling and stuff with you guys. So he's going to be sharing 4 questions that you can start using immediately to communicate more effectively and build deeper relationships with your clients when they're buying, selling, or investing in real estate. So he's going to give you guys some questions that are going to help you guys close more deals, make more money, and all that. So that's going to be on Wednesday at 11. We'll do it online, but if you guys want to come in here, this office or the Ajax office, you guys can go there. We also have a women's event on Wednesday, so I think so. Are any of you guys going to the women's event for Varan's team? I know you guys had a sold-out event, but there's a bunch of us going to that. If you're not, go to the webinar. And then April 2nd, you guys are busy over there at FIDA's Mortgages. I need to read his name. The 2026 Economic and Housing Forecast with Jean-Francois Parole, April 2nd with Scotiabank. So they're going to be doing an economic outlook. So that's also a webinar on the 2nd. On April 7th, we have awards. So if you guys haven't RSVP'd, please email Ginny to let her know that you are coming so we can make sure that we have your name on the board. So you make sure that if you are walking across the stage, we need you guys to RSVP. Make sure obviously we have enough food and seats and all that. So if you haven't RSVP'd to Ginny, do that. Just to add to April 15th, Elizabeth Anderson, one of our agents, she's going to be doing a webinar for you guys on how to run webinars, like first-time homebuyer webinars and stuff like that. So she's going to be sharing what she does in her business to get clients online. I know Natsumi does the same stuff as well. So I think it'll be really good for those of you guys that have been thinking about doing first-time homebuyer seminars online for people. And then finally, April 22nd, we're going to be doing a lunch and learn with Regal Staging at our Ajax office. So they're going to be talking about staging. I think they're even going to bring in a videographer to do some content shooting. So they're the ones that sponsored our content room at the Ajax office. So if you guys want to go film some content, do some photography, whatever it is, you guys can go to that room at Ajax anytime and just do some filming. You don't have to necessarily be talking, but if you want to do some B-rolls or whatever it is in that room, they're going to be switching that room up every few months. So it's not going to stay. I know we've had a lot of comments on it being really girly and stuff like that. I know it's got a lot of curtains and stuff, but there is multiple sides to the room. There is a little bit more of a masculine side in the corner, or there's some curtains, but I think I will give her the feedback that we need a little bit more masculine as well. But there is tons of spots at the Ajax office that you can film. It is just
like
feminine.
Pastels and pink. It's just spring.
Exactly. So they're going to be doing that. But if you guys have had that thought that it's too girly for you, we'll give that feedback as well. But there's so many rooms in the office that you guys can film as well that are more masculine, I guess. But that's it. We got a lot of training happening in the next couple months.
Good.
I'm curious. So our stage a house. Do they stage a house to be girly or do they mask?
Yes, it's for the woman.
They always, they always make a
Honestly, yeah, I would say it's very rare to, unless it's like a loft in Toronto, maybe. But
It was like the B&Bs. I went to a B&B in Nova Scotia. It's that little town there with the lighthouse is.
Charlottetown,
That's PEI, but
Peggy's Cove. No, that's
Peggy's
Nova
Cove.
Scotia.
Peggy's Cove there, and then me and Jerry Tabin shared a B&B room there, and all this lace and pillows are all lacy and all this lavender perfume and.
It's for the girls. So yeah, I think staging most is very feminine, but yeah,
Wait, would you go on a road trip with me?
I do it with Jerry.
Jerry, that's enough.
no, only his favorite agent.
So that's all we got. We'll send out some massive emails with all those events and all that stuff. So keep an eye on it.
Anybody have any properties you want to talk about? Properties? No?
Any emotions?
Is it April 7 award winning can be moved a little bit? Because I have another meeting at
We're gonna move it just for you.
Metropolitan Police. They always have yearly gathering, and it's very important. And it's our same timing.
No, that's too bad. Yeah, we moved it once. We'll take it into consideration.
Thank you for the suggestion.
Did somebody I mentioned too about running some ads in the Facebook Marketplace? Did anybody give it a try at that? Anybody try
Like buyer, seller.
Try it all. Look at somebody here. Did you try that Facebook Marketplace? Have you tried that yet? Any action? Just doing so. Something.
Aaron, I know Alexis was gonna try something with
They do pieces. They get.
still, I told him to try to do the buy
sales.
sell.
I know. No one responds back.
Maybe she tried. So.
No, she did.
Yeah.
We
So
do, but no one ever
yeah,
responds back.
we have tested it. It's not the same reaction.
Different platform altogether for that.
Yeah.
That's not where you're finding them.
So who's advertising for buyers? Not least.
She was trying out.
I know, but anybody else? Anybody else?
We tried once.
Just once.
No, because I need to talk to them, get their permission, and then many times I wanted to have a sweet spot, something that is rentable basement. Yeah, I mean, something below 1,900,000 rentable basement, nice location, but that getting many times sending a mail and getting the return approval from that. I just started on fire.
So we all know, right? If you try something once and that's not the end of it. Right?
Gotta keep going.
Gotta keep going. Keep going.
I think everyone should have at least 2 leases and 2 sales up on Facebook. One like list low and one a little bit like average price. But I used to do it on the wartime homes on Kijiji.
Right.
It used to work.
And so nobody doing Kijiji anymore.
Yeah,
You're risking your life.
Kijiji is a little scary because you can't see their profiles, but you could probably do the same method. Like I always think about the Ajax wartime homes that are like under, I don't know, $600,000-$700,000 that you can chuck up on there. Usually you might have a first-time home buyer looking on that platform, but.
Just do an open house.
So I know people are trying to do for sale by owners, for instance. And if you go to the webpage there and you search for sale by owners for Toronto, there's web pages out there that guys are trying to sell their house privately, and they've got their name and their phone number there. Half of them are probably agents, but the other half aren't.
It's true.
All right. Yeah. So there's different things out there. We're not allowed to target expiries on MLS, but there's no reason why you can't certainly door knock an area and farm an area and see the property used to be for sale. You just don't. Privacy Act doesn't allow you to do that, but you can still deal with them. My suggestion was to not necessarily have a property and wait for somebody to give you permission. My idea was to give them a general idea, saying that I've got these 4 properties that match these descriptions here. Give me a call and I'll show them to you.
Yeah.
All right. But not just once.
Good. I'll mention quickly, we have a listing of clients in a bad situation. He's going to end up renting it out. So if you've got a client that's also in a bad situation where you've told them go rent your own property or there's no commission involved, we have some 2-bedroom condo in Scarborough.
$430,000 only.
To buy, but if you have a rental client that you're not expecting commission on or anything, we can introduce you to the landlord. Scarborough, McCowan, and Finch, 2-bedroom.
They'll probably be looking for like $2,500.
It's only if you're helping somebody out, so we're just trying to help them out too. Anyone else? So we'll see you Monday. I will not see you, but you will be graced with Katelyn.
Maybe it'll be me and a special guest. Nelson.
Thank you.